All right, welcome everybody. This is Scott Colby. You are here live on a webinar. We're going to be talking about my top 7 takeaways from the Ultimate Health Summit so you can optimize your health today. We had a really good summit over the last 2 weeks. I appreciate everybody joining in on that. Hopefully you got a lot of value. If you were just hopping into the chat room, welcome aboard. We were going to be getting started in about 7 minutes at the top of the hour. And if you if you can see the slides, you should be able to see that first slide that says the top 7 takeaways from the Ultimate Health Summit. It's got a picture of me. Please let me know that you can see that and that you can hear me. And also, please introduce yourselves. We would love to know who you are and where you're from. We've got Nazir. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Welcome aboard to the webinar. Thank you for being here. And if you were just rolling in, thank you so much. We're going to start in just about 6 minutes. Please introduce yourselves. Let us know where you're chatting in from today. Thank you so much for spending your St. Patrick's Day night here with me. And we've got Lori says, I can see and hear you. So thank you for the sound check, Lori. Now, if you are just joining here, make sure you press the play button on the video. And that way you will be watching us live. So you can refresh the screen, press the play button on the video. Barbie, hello. Yes, there is sound. You should be able to hear me. Make sure your volume on your speakers are up. And Nazir says, I'm a fitness manager working with fitness first in the Middle East. Awesome. Very cool. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Middle East. Really appreciate that. Make sure you can hear me. You could just say, yes, I can hear you. That would be great. I would hate to go through the whole presentation without you all being able to hear me. If you're just joining us, you were just a few minutes early, and I appreciate your promptness. We're going to be getting started right at the top of the hour, so in just about 5 minutes. Where else is everybody from? And can you hear me? All right, we've got Cindy says system sound and video working fine. Thank you so much, Cindy. Penny says, yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Penny. Really appreciate that. Aline says, yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard, everybody. We are here live on Tuesday at almost 8 p.m. Eastern. And you know, in that final reminder email, I said Wednesday, so I hope that didn't throw people off. It's Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day here in the U.S., so thank you. Barbie says, I cannot hear and no slides. Laura, you want to possibly help Barbie out? She could maybe refresh her screen. We've got Penny from Akron, Ohio. Aline says, I don't see any video. Aline, just refresh your computer. Should be video right there to the left of the chat box. Make sure after you refresh that you press the play button on the video. You should be seeing my first slide. We've got Cindy also in Ohio. So we've got Penny in Akron and Cindy in Galleon. I've never heard of that, Cindy, but welcome aboard. Got people are rolling in, so thank you. We're going to be getting started in about 3 minutes. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Dorothy, welcome. We have a Fit for Photos member, Dorothy, here. Thank you so much. This should work on mobile, Barbie. So if you're on your phone or Kindle, iPad, that should work as well. Hey, Megan, another Fit for Photos member. Welcome aboard, Megan. Thank you so much for being here. And again, we're going to be getting started in just about a minute. Sounds like everybody hopefully can hear us and you're rolling in. Loud and clear from Texas, says Kimmy. Thank you so much, Kimmy. Really appreciate it. Hey, where in Texas are you from? I actually lived in Dallas for about 11 years before I moved here to Colorado. Thank you so much for coming in early and chatting it up. I love this pre-game chat party here. I've got Lori Heisler here. She's going to be helping anybody, hopefully, who can't hear or see the videos. Make sure your technology is working. So thank you so much. People are still rolling in, so really appreciate it. It is about 6:01. And actually, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. Let's see if this works. I'm actually going to turn my video camera on here. All right, so now you can see I'm a real person. I've turned my video camera on, so hopefully I remember to switch back to the slides. So anyway, I just wanted to kick this off and thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. I know we've done this Ultimate Health Summit for the last 2 weeks. First of all, I appreciate you just listening into those interviews. That means a lot to me. I had a lot of fun doing them. And then I know today is St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if any of you celebrate that or perhaps you celebrated over the weekend. There was a big St. Patrick's Day party, not party, but parade here in Denver on Saturday. So that was kind of the excitement for St. Patrick's Day here in the city I live in. But thank you for joining me on a Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. where I am in Denver. Just wanted to say hi and let you know that I really appreciate you. I'm going to turn the camera off now and get the slideshow back going. All right, so we should be back to the slides. And now we are ready to rock and roll. Beautiful. So again, welcome. Thank you so much, everybody. My name is Scott Colby, and like I mentioned, we just concluded our Ultimate Health Summit last Friday. It was 18 presentations in 2 weeks, and that didn't even count the weekend. So really 18 presentations in 10 days, and that's a lot. And so what I wanted to do, I was thinking like, how could I provide more value? I know people may have missed a few presentations, or you may be overwhelmed. Maybe you heard all 18 and now you're like, all right, what should I do? That was so much information, and I don't want you to walk away with information overload. but there was so many good nuggets of information from our guest experts that I don't want you to miss everything. So what I did was I decided to listen to every presentation because I recorded them, and I took notes on every presentation, and I've compiled the top 7 takeaways from the Ultimate Health Summit so you can optimize your health today. And when I started to put this presentation together, I thought to myself, uh-oh, what have I done? How can I compile 18 interviews into just top 7 takeaways? And you'll notice that some of these takeaways that I'm going to be talking about actually overlap with each other. So that's the cool thing, and that's how I was able to compile things down into just 7. Now, first, before we get started, I wanted to say a big thank you, 2 big thank yous to you. Number one, just wanted to thank you for registering for the Ultimate Health Summit. We had actually just over 5,100 people registered for the actual. So thank you for being one. And then I wanted to thank my 18 experts. We had 18 amazing guest experts during the 2-week period, so I definitely want to thank them. And then also thank you all for being here. Like I said, it is St. Patrick's Day. You have other choices of where you can be on a Tuesday evening or what you could be doing. And thank you for taking action and listening to me for the next hour or so. I really appreciate that. So on our chat today, here's what you're going to discover. Okay, how to use biofeedback to keep your hormones balanced and keep your heck in check. This is one of our first presentations where Dr. JT talked about the topic because a lot of people do have hormone heal your which foods you should eat to increase energy and which to avoid. A simple technique so you can be more productive and do less. A morning ritual that will make you absolutely unstoppable. I'm going to reveal to you how you can get rid of your negative thoughts so you can increase your confidence and love yourself more. Very important, how to take action and develop habits that stick. So it's one thing to learn all of this information and strategies, but it's another thing to actually take action and apply it. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. And then finally, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at a new program that you're going to have the option to get involved with called Health, Happiness, and Heart. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about me because many of you may just know me as the host of the Ultimate Health Summit and may not really know much more about me. So I actually grew up in Northern Virginia. This won't take long. I'm not going to talk too long about myself, but I grew up in Northern Virginia and right outside of Washington, D.C. I went to the University of Virginia for my undergrad and graduate studies. And now I currently live in Denver, Colorado. And that's a picture of me on the right on top of a 14,000-foot mountain that I hiked a couple years ago. So my background is in research, movement science and kinesiology type research. I worked at the Steadman Hawkins Sports Medicine Foundation in Vail, Colorado, Duke University, and also I've worked with children at Texas Scott Children. And I actually have several articles published in pretty major scientific publications, including Gait Posture and Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy. So that was for about 10 years graduate school. Moved to Dallas, I kind of transitioned transitioned and I decided fitness industry. So I uh, opened up his only boot camp called Her Strength, and I'm proud to say we actually were voted the best women's boot camp in Dallas back in 2009. It actually wasn't all fun and games for me, though. In my mid 30s, I wasn't very happy. I wasn't very happy of my career at that point. I was still in research. I was getting into the fitness industry, eating the wrong foods, so foods I thought were healthy for me, but actually weren't. I didn't like my body and didn't really like myself. And I was actually wasting a lot of time in the gym doing the wrong things. I also lacked confidence. I was afraid to ask girls out for fear of rejection. I would actually rather not ask them out than have them say no to me, because that was kind of my mindset back then. And I was actually tired of it all the time. I didn't have. And so an adventure trip to Colorado changed everything. I don't tell this story too often, but I think it's really important. Back in 2007, I took a chance. I went on an adventure trip with 11 other people that I didn't know. And I actually lived in Texas at the time. The trip was right outside of Vail, Colorado. Things like hiking and whitewater rafting. We stayed in these huts, and we had to hike from hut to hut, and we didn't have any real it was great zone. By doing never done before, going there by myself, not knowing anybody. The thing that changed for me after that trip, I could, you usually when you start to talk, all right, what if this happens? What if that happens? I'm afraid of the unknown. Well, if you can get beyond that and take action, a whole new abilities can open up to you. And that's what happened with this adventure trip. After that trip, I did a lot of research in fitness. I got in amazing shape for the first time. I actually started my own online blog called The Abs Expert. It's now over at scottcolby.com. And I started creating fitness programs online, which I don't believe I ever would have done had I not taken this chance and gotten out of my comfort zone out in Colorado. That motivated me so much that I started to put together my own fitness adventures. And so I've put together adventures myself where I've helped. It's amazing. At the same time, some really beautiful things can happen. So I'm really happy with how things are going now. I've put fitness adventures together in Costa Rica, which is the group you see there in the upper right. And the lower right there, we went to Keystone, Colorado, and did some amazing stuff. I've gone zip lining, which is a picture in the lower left. I went to Guatemala, took another chance, traveled to Guatemala by myself last summer, and helped to build a school for some a poor community. And I've tried my hand at stand-up paddle, one of our adventures in La Jolla, California. So I've been able to do some amazing. I so was able to take that chance from that adventure trip back in 2007. And the other things that are currently going on today, there's there of me and my girlfriend, and then I run an online program called Flows. And so I've done so in the last couple of years that helped keep me in shape. So that's just a little, and I want to show you how you can be your best, happiness and heart, because and then getting out of your comfort zone and developing some new habits. We're going to go through all that. So you're probably on this webinar for one of the following reasons. You don't have enough energy and are tired all the time. Perhaps you have too much stress and overwhelm in your life. Maybe you work too hard and want to spend more quality time with your family. Maybe you want to just be more productive, like you have too much overwhelm, too much things on your plate, and your to-do list when you go to bed is longer than it is when you wake up. Perhaps many days you don't feel well and you want to feel better. Or you want to get rid of your negative thoughts and have more self-confidence. That was actually me. I didn't have much confidence. I didn't want to ask girls out. I didn't want to take my shirt off at the pool. Perhaps this is something like you. Or maybe you just want more fun in your life. If any of these sound like you, then you're definitely in the right place. But we're going to go over like my top 7 takeaways from the Ultimate Health Summit, and I believe we're going to address all of these things that I just mentioned. And if you take action on them, you're going to be able to optimize your health starting today. So let's go into our takeaways. We're going to talk about takeaway number 1. This was really interesting, and this may be a surprise to you, but losing fat isn't just about calories in versus calories out. The model of metabolism is all wrong, and we talked about this in the presentation with Dr. Jay Tita. Now, we've been thinking about metabolism in the wrong way. You may be says a calculator, and it's calculated based on energy in, or your calories that you consume through food and drink, and energy out, the calories that you're burning during exercise and daily activity. But we know that you can give the exact same meal plan and workouts to 2 different people. They can follow the exact same things, and one person can get great results, and another could do the same thing and gain weight, get the opposite results. So what's at play here? Well, the best model of metabolism, again, we learned this in our presentation with Dr. Jay Tita, is that metabolism is actually a thermostat. It's always changing and always reacting. And it can change moment to moment during the entire day. So it's reactive to everything that you do: exercise, diet, stress, sleep. And so when you're just looking at, let's say you want a physique change and you're trying to lose fat, and 2 people are doing the same nutrition and workout plan, that's actually not enough, because stress and just your overall outlook on life can play a role in your metabolism. Those affect your hormones, and that's going to play a role in whether you're getting your fat loss results that you want. So this is a great takeaway right here. I would write this down if I were you. You can keep your hormones and metabolism balanced by keeping your HEC in check. And Jay talked about this. HEC equals hunger, energy, and cravings. And so what you do here, hunger, energy, and cravings can be your biofeedback signals. And if you're not having any hunger, if you're high energy, and if you don't have any cravings, these are a great indicator that you're in balance. Now, if you are going out throughout your day and you're experiencing one of these or multiple ones of these, so you're experiencing, or you have low energy, or you have cravings, that's a good sign that something is off. And that's going to affect your results that you're getting if you're trying to change your physique. And so, just for an example, if one of these start to come low energy, you can thrown things off. Maybe you ate a sandwich from Subway and it had some processed meats and wheat bread or white bread. And then a few hours later, you were craving something. Well, if you can just go back and look at what you ate in the previous 24 hours, you're going to be able to start to figure out what foods cause you either hunger, energy, low energy, or cravings, and you can start to eliminate those foods from your diet. So you're going to be playing a little bit of nutritional detective when you're looking at these biofeedback signals. Personally, when I eat too much sugar, it could be like I feel like I just want to lay down, start to just jot down if you're not feeling too well and what you ate the prior 24 hours, or keep a food log each day when you're having kind of these hunger pangs or cravings or low energy. You're going to start to figure out which that you shouldn't have in your regular meal plan. These, so you can, in general, foods that are so balance your hormones first. So if you just kind of want to start things off and you want to have a better nutrition plan and feel better, don't worry about calories in versus calories out right now. All right. If you don't have a lot of energy, you're not going to be productive. It's going to affect what food you eat. Maybe. So veggies, the basis of your diet. Now, greens are the most nutrient dense of all foods on the planet. And they have high sources of alkaline minerals, really helps your body maintain its ideal pH. And so an easy way to do this, just add one of these daily, either like a green juice, a green smoothie, or a big salad. If you just add one of those to your day, each and every day, you're going to feel a whole lot better, and you won't even need a stimulant like coffee. I've started adding a green smoothie each and every morning with some spinach and berries and hemp seeds and other some whey protein, and it just really gets my day started on the right foot. Now, foods to prize. So most of you might think that caffeine is going to add energy, right? Because it's a pick me up. actually, caffeine will cause your blood sugar to crash. So it stimulates your blood sugar at the beginning. You feel good. It's kind of the same thing with sugar. But after a little time, you're actually going to crash and you're going to feel less energized. So I know this picture is kind of funny here of this cat drinking a Starbucks, but that's how a lot of people really rely on their coffee. You and I both know people that say, I can't get my day started without my morning coffee. Well, you've got something wrong if you're relying on coffee to get through your day. And so you want to slowly eliminate that from your meal plan and try to integrate more greens and more relaxing activities like being outside and sharing gratitude and doing some relaxing breathing. Now, there are some other foods that'll take away from your energy, most notably wheat and gluten, things like breads and cereals and pasta. Those can really cause damage to your gut, and we're going to talk a little bit more about chronic health disorders later in this presentation. But these are foods that can actually decrease your energy as well. So you really want to eliminate those wheat and gluten type foods in your meal plan. And there's no worries there, because if you like bread, you can easily make bread with almond flour instead of wheat, and it's just as good. So switching gears a little bit here. So that's kind of some practical action steps that you could take to increase your energy. I just want to emphasize that you should really be working on yourself each and every day. Taking care of you should be your number one priority. So I think you should be spending part of your time each day, specifically in the morning if possible, for some self-care. And the famous motivational speaker Jim Rohn, he had this quote that Hal Elrod, the author of The Miracle Morning, shared with us on his presentation. Your level of success will seldom exceed the level of your personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. So if you want success in all areas of your life, first you need to work on yourself, and then everything else will come as a result of that. So good relationships, careers, finances, things like that. So make sure you're taking time for yourself each and every day. Hal Elrod has an amazing morning routine that you can try with the acronym, the Lifesavers. So just briefly go through them. The first S is silence, or just relaxing with some quiet time, maybe meditation, maybe in prayer, whatever speaks to you. Affirmations or positive thinking is the next one. The A. V is visualization, visualizing what you want out of your life, creating a vision board with pictures of how you want your life to look is a very popular and powerful technique. Exercise doesn't have to be your full workout here in the morning. You could just do some light stretches or a short walk just to get your joints moving, your blood flowing. Reading, and we're talking about reading a inspiring personal development type of book, and then scribing or writing down in a gratitude journal and telling what you're thankful for each and every day. You start your day with a morning routine like this, you are going to be more productive, more energized all day long. So that's another step that you could do for your personal development. Okay, let's talk about takeaway number 3. This is an important one too. How to increase productivity and achieve work-life balance. And I mentioned at the beginning, a lot of us are overwhelmed, right? We're stressed with everything we have to do. We have a to-do list a mile long. And a lot of times it's because we don't have our priorities straightened out. We're not prioritizing things. And we're wasting a lot of time. And so we had a productivity expert, Chris Bailey, as part of the Ultimate Health Summit. This is just kind of a very simple way of thinking of productivity. These numbers don't really matter. It's just kind of the way you think about it. But he said productivity is a way of doing 10 hours of work in 6 hours, so you have 4 more hours to do things that are meaningful to you. Okay. So what if you had 10 hours worth of work, but you figured out how to do it in 6 hours, and you had 4 more hours to spend time outside with your wife or husband and kids? Wouldn't that be very meaningful? Wouldn't you want to be more productive? So really, it's a way of doing your work in less time so you can spend more time doing the things that you love. And Chris also talked about setting intentions. Productivity is accomplishing what you intended to accomplish. So if you intend to have a day of relaxation and taking care of yourself, treating yourself to a spa day, if you will, and you actually do that, then you've been productive because that's what you intended to do and you got it done. So it's really important to set some intentions at the beginning of your day and then working towards accomplishing them. So Chris also talked about that productivity merges time, energy, and tension, but we want to take caution here because a lot of us have a tendency to just throw more time at your problems, and really that's not the solution. A lot of times if you're just kind of spending more and more and more time on something, that's not going to make you more productive. It's really about throwing more energy and focus at the things that you need to get done. Okay, so we've talked about energy, right? In the last few slides, we talked about ways to increase energy. If you increase energy, you're going to be more productive. The other part of the equation is focus. A lot of us lose focus. There's so many distractions throughout our day, technology and emails and text messages, things of that nature. So here's an easy technique or a trick for you to focus more. It's called the Pomodoro technique. And I like it because, I'm in the fitness industry, kind of sounds like interval training for working. So it's really where you focus on one thing and you work intently on it for 25 minutes without taking any breaks and without checking email or Facebook or anything like that. So you really work hard for 25 minutes on one thing. You break for 5 minutes. You work for 25 minutes, break for 5, 2 more times, work for 25, break for 5, and then finally work for 25 minutes, and then you break for 15. So that allows you to really pay attention to just one thing and really focus in on it, and you're going to get a lot more done if you work in a technique such as the Pomodoro technique. So let's talk a little bit more about work-life balance. We had Holly Rigsby here to share some tips about that. And I asked her, how do you know if your life is out of balance and you need to take a step back and evaluate things? Number one, that's actually a great thing to do. And a lot of us, we're always in the middle of a crisis or things we have to get done. We just don't really ever take a step back and evaluate things. So first of all, just taking that key step is very important. So one way to know if you do need to take that step is this biofeedback. Here we go again, but not with nutrition like we talked about with our first takeaway. But you might often feel if you're out of balance with your work, you may often feel stressed or tense or moody. You might snap at people, and you really won't be happy or have much joy in life. So if this is happening to you, it's time to really take a step back. And a lot of times our problem is we are saying yes to everybody, right? We don't want to disappoint people, so we're saying yes, yes, yes. The problem is if you say yes to everybody else, you were saying no to you and your family, and your health is priority number one, and spending time with your family is priority number 2. So just remember, if you're trying to please everybody and say yes to everybody, you're saying no to you and your family. So you have to take a step back and see what's important and where your priorities lie. All right. Takeaway number 4, how to boost your confidence and love yourself. This is very important because a lot of people walk around and they don't like themselves, or they're not confident in things. They have a lot of negative self-talk swirling around in the heads, and we've all been there, so I don't want you to feel bad if this is you, but there are some things that you could do to help this. So we had I love this, Catherine Garceau. She was one of our first speakers. She was the Olympic swimmer, and she talked about, if you don't love your body, start with my body love. So what does that mean exactly? Well, somebody who doesn't love themselves or their body, how do they get started to change these thoughts? And she suggests you start with my body love. So kind of turn it around and ask yourself, what does your body love to do? So maybe your body loves to hike. Maybe your body loves to dance around, in front of a mirror, just kind of just let loose, if you will. So find a couple of things that your body loves to do, and starting this week, proclaim that you will do 2 things this week that your body loves. So this is kind of a very easy first step to take if you don't really love your body. Start with figuring out what your body actually loves to do. And then I want to talk a little bit about this victim mindset where you're blaming everybody else. This was, we talked with Joe Coleman about this on our very last day of the summit. And a lot of us do go around with this victim mindset where we're blaming everybody else. And it's tough, right, sometimes, because we talked about how 2 people can follow the same program and get results. One person can lose 20 pounds, the other person can follow the exact same program and not lose any weight, and then you're kind of blaming the program or blaming your coach or somebody else without taking full responsibility. It feels unfair, right? And it's the easy way out to look around and see who has it better than you. So you can really choose to blame and complain, but where does that get you? The better thing to do is actually to take 100% responsibility. Really, who can be more of an expert in your body than you are? So you need to interpret, here's that biofeedback again. You need to interpret your own biofeedback. You may be following the same nutrition plan and workouts, but sleeping 3 hours a day. So it's not the program, it's something with your sleep amount and possibly the quality of your sleep. So it really takes a lot of mindfulness to have this empowered mindset and take 100% responsibility. It takes mindfulness and it takes a lot of practice. Here's another one that a lot of us struggle with. We say, when I blank, so an example, when I lose 20 pounds, I'll be happy. So that kind of alludes to you're not happy now, but when you lose 20 pounds, you're gonna all of a sudden be happy. That's not really a great way of thinking, and we need to start to reframe this. So the better thing to ask yourself and the answer is, if I never lost another pound, would I be okay? And for most people, the answer is going to be yes, right? You're going to be okay if you don't lose another pound. So it's not really the weight loss that's going to make you happy, right? We think all this negative stuff, this guilt is actually serving us, but it's really not. This guilt and this negative mindset, it's a distraction. And it really takes a lot of mental negative energy. So really practice taking 100% of responsibility. And then number 2, reframing questions such as this. So not when I lose 20 pounds, I'll be happy, but answer the question, if I never lost another pound, would I be okay? Self-compassion, it's a huge piece of the puzzle. Like I mentioned, it takes a lot of mental energy to keep hating your body. You've got guilt, shame, remorse. Takes that lot of mental energy and willpower. And this really takes away our power. So give yourself self-compassion messages and the benefit of the doubt. And if you get rid of negative thinking, clear up your mental space, you're more motivated to go after you want, what you want in life, okay? All right, let's talk about takeaway number 5. And this is an interesting one because this isn't really about strategies that you could take, but we had 3 interesting stories in the summit that were very similar in that foods can heal chronic diseases. So we had Dr. Paul Jaminet in his 20s. He exercised less, he had slower reaction times, his memory got worse, he had hypothyroidism, he took a lot of medication for acne, and he went to the doctors and they couldn't really diagnose or treat what was wrong. He got a lot of medication to take, which actually didn't serve him very well. And it really wasn't until he discovered the paleo diet and actually modified the paleo diet to suit his need, because when you follow a really strict paleo diet, you may be not eating every nutrient your body actually needs. So he actually modified it, came up with a perfect health diet, and that helped get rid of his chronic disorders and became more healthy. So he wanted to make sure that we knew that disease really begins in the gut. The foods that you eat can lead to metabolic syndrome, diabetes, obesity, fatigue, mood disorders, cardiovascular issues, and hypothyroidism. Fortunately, good nutrition can help alleviate some of these. And a lot of common health problems can be treated with food, things like migraines, epilepsy, mental health disorders, anxiety, mood issues. A lot of these can be resolved if you're just eating a whole natural diet. And a couple other people had similar stories. Russ Crandall, one of our guest experts, he actually had a stroke at age 25. He had an inflammation of the pulmonary artery, so he had a lot of breathing issues. He took pills for a year and actually got sicker. And then he had expensive surgery that didn't help. He was sick for more than 3 years on all this medication. He simply changed his diet. And within 3 weeks had a dramatic change in his health, and his blood work came back normal. And then finally, Yuri L came. He had chronic fatigue as a teen soccer player. So he was an athlete working out hard, but he thought he could just kind of eat whatever he wanted. But then at age 17, things got real serious. All of his hair fell out in 6 weeks. And it discovered he had an autoimmune disorder, but doctors couldn't figure out how to treat it and make him feel better. Well, it wasn't until Yuri did his own research that he discovered his diet was the culprit. And so he changed his diet and got rid of his chronic fatigue, and that's what led him to now teaching about how to increase your energy. And then another kind of common theme, a lot of our guest experts were really kind of into intermittent fasting. Brad Pilon was our guest expert about that, but other of the experts recommended it in a modified fashion. Intermittent fasting is really just a period of time that you aren't consuming calories. And so you really want to pick a set time of how long you won't eat, such as 7 p.m. Oops, excuse me. That should be 7 a.m. to 7. Excuse me. No, that's right. 7 p.m. one day to 7 p.m. the next day. So that's a 24-hour fast. The idea here is you're still eating every day, right? So you're finishing your meals at 7 p.m. one day, and then you can eat the next day at 7 p.m. That's a 24-hour fast. Other of our guest experts ate more of in a 16-8 fashion, where they wouldn't eat for 16 hours, and then they would do all their eating in an 8-hour block during the day. And a couple of benefits here, you were eating your normal amount of calories on non-fasting days, and then the fasting days really takes care of the calorie deficit for fat loss. So if you're trying to lose fat, you're just kind of eating normally on your non-fasting days. When you fast, that's where you're going to create your caloric deficit. Benefit number 2, the meal frequency doesn't really matter here. So there's been lots of looking into this, and there's lots of different ways that you can eat throughout your day. But really, whether you eat 6 smaller meals during the day, 2 to 3 meals throughout the day, so some people just eat kind of 2 to 3 bigger meals, or do an intermittent fasting approach, you really want to pick what's sustainable to you in the real world. So if you don't have a real flexible schedule and you can only get 2 or 3 meals in during the day instead of 6 smaller meals. The key is to eat the correct number of nutrients and calories and not really cut them back too far. But really, you want to find a plan that's sustainable to you. So that was kind of the other takeaway here. All right, takeaway number 6, functional training for fat loss, longevity, and injury prevention. I love this topic, and we didn't really talk about exercise that much. We only had one presentation about exercise with Dr. Dan Ritchie, but it was an important one. We talked about functional training. And in case you're not familiar, functional training is where you get off the machines and get into more this human function movement. So you want to do a lot of your working out on your feet and not laying down or sitting down on machines. And the problem is most of us train in 1 dimensions, but life happens in 3 dimensions, right? If you train in a functional manner, so train in 3 dimensions, that means we're not just training front and back, if you will, we're training side to side, and we're also training with rotation. So that's what I mean by 3 dimensions. This is going to help protect you from injuries like picking up something off the ground, because a lot of times when we're picking up something, we're not just moving in 1 plane, we're moving in 3 planes, or at least 2 planes, or we're putting a bag on an airplane and it's heavy in the overhead. We might have to bend down, lift it up, and rotate as we pick it up. Life happens in 3 dimensions, so if you train as such, you're going to be less likely to have an injury, especially as we get older. So strength improvements, like if a lot of us will lay down on a bench and do a barbell bench press, that'll help your strength. But studies are showing that strength improvements don't translate to quality of life improvements, such as getting in and out of the car. And here's just an example. You can practice lowering your weights to the ground, maybe to the side. So lower the weights to the side of you, stand up from a squat, and press overhead with rotation. That's an example of training for 3 dimension, training functionally, right? Here's just a picture here of the rotational press part. Most of us just press straight up and down, right? We need to also start to include rotation in our movement. So that was our big takeaway here, is to train in a functional manner. This will help us lose the fat, right? We're not saying you're not going to lose fat, but it'll also help us decrease or change for injury, especially as we get older. All right, and our final takeaway, number 7, taking action and developing new habits. Back to my conversation with Joe Coleman on the final day of the summit, we are often paralyzed by fear, and this results in inaction, right? We're fearful because we don't know what to expect. The problem with this is your life stays the same and you feel stuck. So if you listen to this webinar and you don't take any action, your life is going to remain the same. So if you have low energy now, if you're stressed and overwhelmed and eating poorly and you don't do anything about it, you're just going to get the same results and you're going to feel stuck. And so really, this was great. Jill talked about this competency loop. So you want to take an action first and then get inspired. Okay, so it's not the other way around. You're not inspired and then taking action. This competency loop begins by taking action. It can be a really, really small action, and you'll get inspired, which will cause you to want to take more action. So this is kind of a funny slide. You don't have to take a big action like this. This is my friend Holly Rigsby, who was one of our experts, and we went on a fitness adventure together, and we jumped off the 30-foot cliff. And so this is a picture of Holly. That was a big action, right? You don't have to do something that big, but I'm telling you, I was afraid to do that. I didn't know. I had the fear of the unknown. I did it, and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. It frees your mind that, hey, if I could do that, then I could do this. And so again, you could take a small action step. Do anything different now. Then you're going to get feedback, positive feedback, which gives you confidence, which is going to give you permission to act again. So That's a great way to look at it as far as taking action. And let's look at habits, because it's easy for us to take action once, like, hey, we might drink a green smoothie first thing tomorrow morning, and then never do it again, right? So we have to start thinking about habits and developing good habits in our life. Habit is just something you do on a regular basis, almost on a subconscious level, such as getting up and brushing your teeth. That's a habit, right? We get up, we don't think about it, we just automatically go into the bathroom and we brush our teeth. So why are habits so powerful? Well, they reduce your cognitive load. You don't have to think about it. So if you can start to develop these healthy habits that you don't have to think about, you won't have to waste any mental energy on it, right? It's just to start to become part of your daily routine. And why is it hard for most people to establish habits, especially new habits? The problem is many people take an all or nothing approach and they try to change too much at once. They may say, okay, like after hearing this, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, and then I'm going to never eat chocolate again, and I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and do a morning routine, and they do too much at once, and if they miss it one day, that's it. They're never going to do it again. And it's because they haven't established a routine and they're doing too much. The best way to establish a new habit is to really focus on mini habits and micro commitments. Make one change at a time until it becomes a routine. Don't try to do everything at once. And then a great way to create a habit is the so-called habit anchors, or if-then statements. Find a habit you already do and then anchor the new habit on top of it. So you can say, when I brush my, if you already brush your teeth every day, but you don't floss, you can say, when I brush my teeth, I will floss. The floss is the new habit anchored on the existing habit, brushing your teeth. So if you can start to create these habit anchors, you're going to be much more likely to stick to your habit. So there you have it. The top 7 takeaways from the Ultimate Health Summit so you can optimize your health today. So what should you do now? I gave you my best takeaways from the summit. You have a lot of information. Where do you go from here? Well, I'm not sure why you showed up today. Probably one of the reasons we've talked about at the beginning and throughout this webinar. You don't have optimal health. Maybe you're too overworked or overwhelmed. You don't have enough time to spend with your family, too much stress, lack of energy, you're eating poorly, you're not productive, you don't love yourself, your confidence is low. Whatever it may be, probably one or more of these rings true with you, and that's why you showed up to this webinar. But really, I want you to take some time to imagine this. Just kind of imagine living your life with less stress, less overwhelm, and more calm, a nice peaceful life. Imagine living a vibrant life with more productivity, more work-life balance, and having more fun. Imagine having more confidence and loving yourself more. Imagine knowing what foods to eat to help support your long-term health. And imagine, just if you can, just for a second, imagine you have all of this. You're living in optimal health. How do you think you would feel when you got up in the morning? How do you think you would feel? How do you think you would go about your day? How would you spend time with your family? How would you interact with them? Well, if you will allow me, I want to take just a few minutes to tell you about this optimal health program, a new personal whole health coaching club that I've put together just for you. We are going to work on all of this. It's called Health, Happiness, and Heart, but we're going to work at one habit at a time. So we're going to be working, and I'd love to work with you, but we're going to be working on your total health. So this isn't a fat loss program. It's not a workout program. It's not a diet. We're going to be working on total health, on your stress, energy, productivity, nutrition, exercise, habits, happiness, mindset, and work-life balance. It is a 6-month coaching program. It's not a quick fix. It takes a commitment, but it's something that you're going to be sustaining for life. So it's a 6-month commitment. Focus on making one change each month. That change is going to be personalized to you so you can be your absolute best. So here's just a brief rundown of what we're going to be focused on during those 6 months. We're going to be focused on nutrition in month 1, exercise in month 2, month 3, meditation and stress reduction. Month 4, we're going to be working on productivity and work-life balance. Month 5, we're going to focus on self-confidence. And the final month, we're going to be looking at gratitude. And so we're going to be using proven habit techniques that will help you get unstuck and finally stick to your changes. And we're going to be doing it the most simple way possible by developing one simple habit at a time. You're just going to have one focus each and every month. So here's what you get each month. Number 1, you get the simple blueprint, which consists of a 30-day challenge. Each month, you're going to receive a simple step-by-step blueprint to follow during the month to create the new change for 30 days. You're going to have an accountability partner. Studies have shown, and my own fitness programs shows it as well, that if you have accountability partners, that is a powerful way to stick to use the power of in the coaching club to make sure you are successful. You're going to get email reminders to motivate you to stay on track. Now here's where it gets stupid. You're going to get your 7 access to your coach, which is me. You can record with this new state-of-the-art technology that we haven't used before. You're going to be able to record questions for me hours a day, your personal questions, and I will reply with a personal audio just for you. So it's going to be extremely personal coaching that you're going to be getting. And then it wouldn't be a coaching program without a community. We've created a health, happiness, and heart community for you to get extra support, not only from me, but the other members going through the program. And then finally, monthly Q&A webinars. So each month, we're going to have a live webinar where I or a guest expert will answer questions on that month's topic. And then a 7-day Habits 101 course. So before our very first monthly challenge begins, we're all going to go through a 7-day habits course so you can learn basic habit skills and apply them throughout each month's 30-day challenge. So here's a summary of what you get. You're going to get a step-by-step blueprint for the habit change each month. You're going to get accountability partners. You're going to get 24 access to your coach, which is me, to record your audio questions. You're going to get community support system, email reminders from me, monthly Q&A webinars with me or a guest expert, and the 7-day Habits 101 course. Now, the first 30-day challenge, there is a slight misprint there. It's actually April 1st. The first 30-day challenge begins April 1st, but our Habits 101 course is going to begin on March 24th. So that's just coming up next week. Okay, so it's coming up soon. So we want to sweeten the deal just a little bit with a bonus worth $497. I've put together the ultimate workout resource. It's taken me 3 years to put this together. Only my private fitness clients have access to it right now. It contains over 200 workouts. I'm going to give you access to that, lifetime access, so you never really have to worry about what workout to do next. I'm going to give you lifetime access to that when you join our health, happiness, and heart coaching program. Now, how much should this cost? So just to be honest and upfront with you, pricing something like this is something I actually struggle with. I always think, how do you put a price tag on your health? So if you're getting rid of chronic illnesses, having more energy, if you have less overwhelm, less stress in your life, if you have more joy and happiness and more time with your family and more fun, really, if you really think about the changes that you're going to be making in your health and in your life, what if this adds 5 more vibrant, disease-free years to your life? What would you be willing to pay for that? Is $2,000? Would that be $5,000? So it is really hard for me to put a price tag on a health coaching program because your health is the most important thing that you have going for you. And then the other part of this, how much do I charge for my time for coaching? Time is your most valuable commodity. And one of my business mentors has a group coaching program that he charges $500 a month because really access to him and his knowledge is his most valuable asset. And I would say the same thing for me. You can't really get back your time. So putting a lot of time and effort into a program like this, but I want to make this extremely affordable, because I'm a person that loves to give and to help people change their lives. So I don't want price to be a barrier. So I think I've put together a program that's actually a bargain, and it's just going to be $67 a month if you sign up today on this webinar. Again, we ask for a 6-month commitment. It is a 6-month coaching program. It's not a quick fix. We're going to be working on a different area of your life for 6 months, but it's going to be $67 per month if you sign up today. Okay, so you're going to see an orange button underneath the video. You can click there and you can get sign up immediately. We'll be taking questions in just a moment. I do want to let you know that I have a VIP premium coaching program, which is the same thing as what I just mentioned. So you get everything we just mentioned, but it's going to include 2 private 15-minute one-on-one calls with me per month for more in-depth personal coaching. I should be charging a lot more for this because normally if you do private one-on-one coaching on the phone, it's like several $100s per month. But I'm going to offer this for $97 a month. And again, that's a 6-month commitment. So it's $97 a month for 6 months. Now, for the premium coaching, I only am going to take 15 people because it takes a lot more of my time to get on the phone with you. So we only have 15 spots available for the VIP coaching program and 50 total spots available for this coaching club. Now, again, spots are limited to the first 50 people, but you're going to be locked in at this price because I plan on launching this again later on towards the end of the year. The price will likely increase. So I want you to know that if you join today, you're going to be locked in at the $67 a month or $97 a month should you choose our VIP program. And I don't want you to have any risk. I'll take the risk. I've decided to put all the risk on us. So you can go through this first month of the program. You can go through kind of the first module where we're going to be focused on nutrition. And if you gave it your best shot and you feel like your health isn't changing, then we will refund your money. So we do ask for a 6-month commitment, but there is an option to leave after the first month if this just isn't something for you. So there's no risk to you. So before we go into your questions, just want you to ask yourself this one question. What is it costing you to be unhealthy in terms of the time, frustration, money you've spent? We showed you 3 of our experts even, Dr. Jaminet and Russ Crandall and Yuri Elkheim spent years of their lives and so much money on medication, and Russ even had surgery that he didn't need. Quality of life, how you feel about yourself. What does it cost you to be unhealthy if you do decide to not take action and just kind of remain the same, remain how you are right now? If you did nothing, what would your life look like in 1 year? How much worse would it be in terms of your health and career and family and stress and your relationships? So I want you to join our health Happiness, and Heart Coaching Club. I'm so excited to put this together. I've been wanting to do this for several months. I'm excited to finally launch it. Is so much in life that I think a lot of us are missing out on because we're not taking care of our health in one way or another. And I want you to live a life of optimal health. So go ahead underneath that video, click on the button, that orange button, to join the program immediately. And when you do click on the button, you're basically going to see this order form. And the order form is going to be $67 a month. Or I've got Lori is putting the link into the chat box for our VIP program. So if you want to join our VIP program, she's putting the link in there for that. And you can sign up for that for $97 a month. Other than that, I really hope to see you into the coaching program, and I really want to thank you so very much for being here. I heard that we had maybe some audio difficulties, so I apologize about that. If we need to do another take on this webinar, I will be happy to. Right now, it's time to ask your questions, either about any of the material from the webinar or the health, happiness, heart 6-month coaching program. So I'm going to take a sip of water and catch my breath. I'm going to wait just a few seconds, and then I'm going to check the chat box to see if we have any questions. So thank you so much for being here on this webinar. All right, I'm just going to scan up in the chat box to see if we had any questions coming in throughout the chat. And again, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to work with so many of you. This is again a program I've spent the last few months putting together, and I am so excited to finally have this for you. And I know you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna love it. We're gonna be working on so much besides just our fitness. Again, it's not your traditional workout and diet program. It's so much more than that. We're gonna be working on the total health. Again, I apologize if you did have any problems hearing the audio or looking at the slides. I will make sure that we can actually do another version of this webinar next week. Did you see any questions coming? Somebody was asking what's going to happen as soon as I sign it up. So what happens as soon as you register today, you're going to get an email from me welcoming you to the coaching club. And then the first step is to get you into our community, because that's where you're going to get access to all the materials. That's where you're going to be able to interact with me, get to know your fellow coaching club members. And so that's going to be the first step. So you're going to get a welcome email from me. We're going to get you set up into our community. And then we're going to get ready to take action next week, because next week starts our 7-day habits program, which is going to lead up to our first 30-day monthly challenge, which begins April 1st. So great question. And again, the 7-day habits challenge begins March 24th, and our first monthly challenge, we're going to be working on our nutrition habits, begins on April 1st. So good question. Thanks, Lori. All right. Again, I wanted to thank everybody for being here, and I will be sending out a replay of this webinar. I'm so grateful for you for your time, not only to be here on this webinar, but participating in the Ultimate Health Summit. I hope we get to work together. I'm excited to have you as part of our coaching club for everybody that has signed up. Everybody else, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you later.